Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eric from Yoka Her Skateboards, and today we're going to be doing another in-depth assembly video. But this time we're going to be using a traditional skateboard. So I'm going to go through all the components that you'll need to assemble a board, as well as the techniques of how to properly fasten and put them onto a board. So we're going to go over how to apply the grip tape, how to put bearings into wheels, and how to secure the trucks and adjust the trucks. So this is going to be a full breakdown of everything you need to know to set up a board. So we've done other boards in the past, we've done long boards, but now we're going to a traditional board. So this is what we're going to be working with today. Here's all of our stuff laid out, and let's get into it. Alright, so we got everything we need to complete a skateboard build. So let's go with step one. So as you see, there's no grip tape on the board. So I'm going to go into detail on how I set up the grip tape. There's a couple different ways, but I'll show you the easiest way that I learned to apply the grip tape. So let's get it started. So we got the board right here, and we got some cool checker kind of 80s kind of punk style grip. So we're going to apply it on there. So grip tape is pretty much just like almost like a gridded sandpaper. So the grip tape's going to keep your board or keep your feet on the board. You're not going to be sliding around. So this is definitely crucial. So don't try to set up a board with no grip tape. It's not going to work out. So essentially, you got the gritty part on the grip tape right here. The other side, we got kind of the backing on it. It's a sticker, essentially. So what we're going to do is we'll grab one end, we're going to peel it. So let's peel this right here, get it all off. And don't worry if it's kind of raveled like this. Most grip tape is sold rolled up. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab the tip of it, and then we're going to get it all kind of worked out, grab the back end of it. So when you apply it, you're going to want to make sure that you get it nice and over the nose and the tail, but also make sure that you're not hanging off one side too much. You kind of try to get it symmetrical. So right here, let's see if I can get it on the first go. So I'm going to hang it off a little bit and then lightly press down. All right, so it looks like we're golden. So I'm going to set it right there. And then, so see how I didn't just press it down, because you'll get a couple air bubbles because it'll sit down kind of not evenly. So what I do is I'll have it set right there, and so you can see there's a gap right here. So what I'm going to do is lift up and then gradually just kind of push down. So what I'm doing right here is I'm pushing the air bubbles out of the grip tape. So there's a little right there, and we'll get to that one, but right now we're just focused on the front right here that I started at. So no air bubbles, and you're kind of just pushing them out of the side, because you don't want to apply the grip tape and then have a bunch of air bubbles. So you can hear that. Just kind of what you can do is just readjust, push those air bubbles out, and then all right, looks like we are solid. And like I was saying, you want to make sure there's a little hang on each side. You don't want it to be too crazy where it's not going to be covering the top of the board correctly. So all right, so we got it applied. Another little tip is, say you don't want to kind of cut up your hands or anything. What I used to do, and still do, is I'll put the paper that we just tore off and just kind of, because it's smooth on this side, this is where it was sticking down as like the sticker side. So I just go like this, and then if you do have air bubbles at the end, I'll show you how to fix that as well. So it's not too crazy. Don't trip, it's only grip. That's what I've always said, and like it'll be good. Don't worry. The hardest part is just applying it on there. We got it. And then next, we're gonna file it down. So if you don't have a file like we have here, you can use like any kind of blunt object. Like I've done it with screwdrivers, I've done it with like the side of a knife. So all we're going to be doing is filing the outside. So what that's going to do, it's going to give us almost like a template where to cut, as well as it's going to file it down to where the grip is really going to stick and it's not going to come up over time. So what I do, just start, and as you can see, it's already making that line. So that's going to be our template where we're going to cut. All right, so as you can see now, we got an outline. That's where we're gonna cut, and that's where it's gonna give us a guideline. So next step, you're gonna need a razor or a sharp knife. I would highly recommend a razor blade. Also be very careful of this. You can cut yourself easily. So if you're not comfortable, maybe get an adult or somebody that's comfortable with it. But yeah, I've cut myself before, maybe once, 2 times, but I don't know how many boards I've gripped, probably hundreds. I used to work at a skate shop, so it happens, but just be very careful, because as you can see, that thing is pretty sharp. So what I'm gonna do is I'll teach you guys how to grip a board the first time I ever gripped one. Somebody taught me. So what you're gonna do is make a little cut all the way, as you can see right here. So we're gonna do that 4 times. Usually I would make one cut, go around real fast, but if you're just starting out, it might be intimidating. So we're gonna make another cut, and that cut, you're gonna go all the way till you can't cut. So it's gonna touch the board. And we're gonna do that, the same thing we did right down here. So it's not gonna cut anymore. Once you feel the board, stop. Do that one more time right here. So what this is gonna do is I'll show you how to cut out. We're gonna do the nose, the tail, and then you'll just have a long strip at the end. So you don't have to worry about going all the way around, or maybe you're not comfortable moving the board as you cut. This is how I've done it. Somebody taught me a long time ago, and I haven't done it like this in a while, but it's good to kind of like a starting point. As you do more boards, it'll become second nature. But another thing is how to hold the blade. So I keep my index finger kind of right at the top, and then my thumb and middle finger kind of balance right in the middle. So when you're gonna be cutting too, I hold it right there, and I'm gonna cut around. And I know the first thing you're thinking is probably you never cut with the blade coming to you, but it would just be hard to do it the other way. So just be very careful. Like I said, it's a really sharp object. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that razor blade in there, and see how I have it angled. We're not just gonna cut like that, because you're gonna miss where you're at. So it's almost like I'm kind of using that guideline, and then so we're just gonna cut around. So we're going just right around. So I use my other hand right here to just stabilize the board. So we're gonna go right where we stopped, and then we're gonna come all the way down. One steady motion, boom, got that off. Got one more side part. So let's go flip that around, get in there again, and then just straight down. And our board is gripped. And so I'm looking for any air bubbles right now. I don't feel any. But say if you ever have an air bubble, something's kind of right there, what you can do is grab the razor blade, kind of press on it, and then push the air bubble out. So of course the air out. So looks like we got a pretty solid one. You see any air bubbles, Enzo? No? All right, so we got our board gripped up. What's the next step? So we have a Yokohama wheel right here. It's got the bearings in there. And how do you get to this point? I'm gonna show you right now. So we got our wheels right here. And our wheels come in various sizes, colors. Check the website. We got a bunch of cool options. So you can make this board customize to whatever color scheme you want, or you can get wild and change up the colors and make it nothing match. So this board, we're gonna have the checker top, we're gonna have the yellow and green and red on the bottom right there, and we're gonna have the red wheels. So it's gonna be a pretty colorful one. So all right, so here we go. These are 54 millimeter wheels. So we're gonna take them out of this little wrapper. So say if you don't have a bearing press, I'm gonna show you a cheap, easy bearing press as long as you have a truck. So I'm guessing if you have a truck, you have the wheels and bearings as well too. So, all right, so we're gonna take this little nut off, the axle nut, and there's gonna have these two little washers. So those are important, we're gonna set those aside. So here are Yokohama bearings. We're gonna put two of them on there. You're probably thinking, but the wheel's not on there. Why are you doing that? And only one goes on each side. So one's gonna go on each side. So this is our little rigged up bearing press here at the skate park. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line it up just like that, and I'm gonna push. And then I'm gonna take it off, and two bearings won't be able to fit, so it will just kind of push itself in there. So as you can see, we got one in. Got one in right there. We're gonna do the same. Flip it around, and then we're gonna push, give it a little push, and look at that. We got a bearing, two bearings actually, in the wheel. It's on the axle, it's spinning, so we are good to go. But like I said before, you're gonna wanna keep these little washers to the side. You don't wanna lose these. So you're gonna take one of them before you put the wheel on. You're gonna put it in there, so it's gonna go to the end of the axle right at like the hanger of the truck. We're gonna go ahead, put the wheel on. So we got one of the washers in there. Grab the other washer, and we're gonna put it on the inside. Make sure it gets all the way down. And then we'll grab that axle nut that we took off to get the bearings on there. And then we're gonna use our Y tool right here. We also sell these. They come in various colors. This thing, you can put together a board totally from start to finish. The only thing you'll need is that blade. So this thing, definitely good to adjust. We have the Allen, if I pop this out, Allen hardware and the Phillips hardware, so you'll be able to adjust all your hardware, as well as we have the hardware nuts, we have the axle nuts, and the kingpin nut. So everything will be adjustable with just this little Y tool. So what's cool, it all stays together by itself. So on the back side, we got the little, we got the screwing mechanism with the Allen and the Phillips head, and then everything right there. Just hit that button, it pops out. So what we're gonna do is, just to make sure everything's all secured, we're gonna tighten it up. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Oh, and there goes the tool, but got it. So we're gonna tighten it up. And what I like to do is, I like to tighten it up kind of where it's not gonna be able to spin, but not too much, just to secure the bearing. So it's not spinning, and then I will loosen it. So loosening it, kind of touching it, because you don't want too much, you don't want any play side to side, but you want enough to where the bearings are going to do their job and spin. So right there is about how I like it, and look at that, it's on there. And so you will do the same for each other side as well. All right, guys, so now we got our wheels and bearings put onto our truck. So let's get in the next step on how to mount these properly. So as you can see, there's 4 holes. They'll correspond to the base plate of the truck. So those holes are gonna line up right there. Look at the top of the board. We don't have any cutouts to where they're gonna guide us to put the hardware in. Don't worry. Usually, like, you could have like a nail or something that you can fit in there to poke through, but I'm going to show you a little trick that I use. So we're going to grab our hardware, and we're going to just put them each in this little hole. I know it looks bad because you're like, isn't it supposed to be going another way? You'll understand in 1 second. So this is a little trick. Say if you don't have anything to poke through, then I grab the truck, and I'm just gonna hit it. So what that's gonna do, the hardware is gonna go through on the other side. So there we go, one little hit, as you can see, right there. So it's all through. Stuck on that one. And so now I got the holes. So I'm gonna put my hardware through on the other side. So it's gonna give me a little template to where the hardware is gonna go into. And then you'll see it come out on the other side. All right, so now we got our hardware sticking up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my fingers holding up the hardware just to kind of hold it into place. So we're gonna grab our truck. And so the truck is a little different than our longboard trucks with the inverted kingpin. So this is gonna be a traditional skateboard truck. So the kingpin, what you're gonna be pivoting on, is gonna be on the inside. So you're always gonna have them facing inside, so at each other. So that's what it's gonna look like essentially on the board. So can we go ahead and lock that right up? So you put the screws into the holes, kind of self-explanatory, and then you'll grab these little nuts, and we're just gonna hand tighten just to get them on there. So they're secured. Kickstart. So we're gonna get our Y tool again. Pop out the back, hit the little button. It's gonna give us, you know, the other set of adjustments. So since these hardware are a Phillips head, as you can see, we're gonna be using the Phillips side. Just lock it in there. And if it was an Allen wrench top of the hardware, you'd use this side right here. So that's not gonna fit, so line it up. All right, we got the Phillips, perfect. So next step is I'm gonna line up exactly what I did right there. Phillips head to Phillips head, and I'm not gonna be tightening it with that hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'll get the axle adjustment. So right there, that's gonna be the smallest one. So we got the smallest hardware. So what I'm doing with this hand, just locking this one in, and the right, I'm gonna just be turning it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. You guys know the drill. There we go. We got our first truck mounted. So it's flush with the hardware. Everything's all set right here. And you just repeat that process to the next side. All right, so let's get into mounting the trucks onto the board. So there is a right and a wrong way to do it. But on this build, we are gonna be going with our Yokohama riser pads. So like I said before, these are gonna have the truck sit up a little higher. It's gonna eliminate wheel bite, as well as it will take impact off of the board directly, off of the wood. So it's kind of like a cushion, almost like a shock. So that's gonna take the impact when you're doing tricks. So first, let's grab our riser pads. So they line up, so the top of it, you'll see two holes right here. That's gonna be the top. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up, let's get it lined up. Line up that bottom one. So the bottom hole is where you're gonna line up. The top hole, you're probably wondering what that's for. That's for boards with a bigger wheelbase. So different wheelbases will have different kind of mounting sections for it. So this is traditional. So you're gonna be using the bottom one. So as you can see, bottom one's lined up, or the top one's lined up, and the bottoms are as well. So we'll go ahead and do that on this side as well. And before we even get into mounting the trucks, we're gonna talk about the proper way to do it, because it kind of looks confusing if you don't know. So you don't want to just go in and, oh, there's 4 holes, let's mount it, because you might do it improperly. So this is the wrong way to do it. So right there, so this is our kingpin. That's going to be on, you always want it to be facing on the inside. So both kingpins will be going towards the center. You never want to have it like that. That's going to make the board perform horribly. It's not going to turn how it's supposed to, and you'll notice instantly if you maybe zoom through it and throw your board down, it's not going to work. Let me tell you, I've set up boards really fast and done it on accident, and you find out really fast once you step on. So like I said, we're going to put them to where the kingpin's on the inside. And we'll do that with this one as well. So the kingpins are facing towards the inside. So that's the way to properly mount the trucks to a traditional skateboard. That's pretty much what you're going to want to do. And then next, we're going to mount the hardware. So the mounting the hardware is pretty straightforward. Like I said, 4 goes on this side, 4 goes on this side for the screws, and then 4 nuts. And so we can do kind of like a little time lapse of me putting that together as well. But for the most important thing with the trucks is making sure that they are put on properly, because this is going to be kind of like the brain of your board. This is what's going to help you navigate, help you do tricks, get into grinds. And if you have it done improperly, it's not going to work out at all. So let's talk about the deck. There is a front and the back to a skateboard deck. The front is called the nose, and the back is called the tail. So pretty much there is a proper way to stand on it. So you can always tell the nose and the tail by the nose on a skateboard will be typically wider, and the tail will taper off and be a little bit shorter. So that's how you can tell. As you see, I'm holding our Yokoher candy board, and this is, we actually built this complete in a video before, so we'll have the description, link to it in the description. This board does have rails on it. So the rails, you might say, what are rails and do I need them? So rails are used for sliding better on rails, like a skateboard rail, or the coping of the top of a quarter pipe at a skate park. So it's totally a preference thing. They come in a bunch of cool colors. We threw them on here. We skated. It was awesome. We just loved how we had the crazy colors going. So yeah, we do have those available on our website as well. All right, let's talk about putting the bearings onto your wheel, as well as putting the wheel onto the axle of your truck. So we've gone ahead and we've taken the axle nut off. We just unscrewed that. And so what we're gonna do, very important right here, is the speed rings. So these little washers, people call them speed rings. You're gonna get 2 of them with each truck on each side. So you're gonna get 8 total. So very important. So when you're applying your wheels and bearings to the axle, you're gonna wanna make sure to put the speed ring on the inside right there. And then we have another one right here, but we're gonna put that on the outside. But let's get into putting the bearings onto the wheel. So I grab them like this. This is like my little trick I've learned a long time ago. I'll grab both of them at the same time. It looks kind of odd. You're probably thinking, how you said there has to be a bearing on each side of the wheel, but I'll show you. So what this is going to do is you'll put your wheel onto the axle where those bearings are, and you can push down. And so there's only enough space for one bearing to go in on the inside. So that's going to push that in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to do the same thing. And then, so I do have, like I said before, we do have that speed ring right in there. And then next, we're going to take the second one and we're going to put it right on the axle. So that's going to that's going to eliminate any friction that maybe as your wheel turns, you're not going to get any friction through like the nut or friction on the inside of the truck. So go ahead and apply that back on. We'll tighten it up. What I like to do is I like to kind of give it a really good tightness on it, because we still want these bearings to kind of get pushed in a little more. And then what I'll do is I'll loosen it up until we can get a nice roll. And look at that. We got both bearings in there. We got our washers or the speed rings, whatever you want to call it. And we got the axle nut secured to the truck. All right, so there we are. We got our whole board set up. So we went through how to put bearings in the wheels, how to grip the board, and how to secure the trucks. So this board is all set to go. It's ready to shred, and it's kind of cool. It's got, we got the checker on the top, and then we got a bunch of crazy colors going on. We got the green, orange, red with the red wheels. looks pretty cool. Looks like, you know, something kind of one of a kind. So that's what's so cool about all the products we have. We have stuff that you can totally match the deck you want, or you can kind of go crazy and make it your own. So check our website. We have so many different graphics. We got different colors in trucks. We have different colors in wheels. We have our Y tools. We have everything you need to get going with skateboarding and continue skateboarding. So, you know, after setting this up, I think I want to skate it. But before that, we just want to say thank you guys so much for your continued support. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe, because we're always coming out with new videos, trick tips, got a maintenance on boards, giveaways. So if you want to stay in that loop, be subscribed, as well as follow us on Instagram and check our website. We're always posting new products that we get, and as we get them, we're showcasing them on videos. So yeah, I think we're gonna go skate now. Let's see if I can get a first try kickflip on this bad boy. Oh, we got it. So